The majority of people tend to stay broke, near poor, and never can see anything beyond the middle class. Versus some people, we'll call them the financially educated or wealthy, they grow up with a very different connotation and mindset around money. So you've probably heard people say poverty is generational. And there's a lot of reasons why people say that. But what I've come to learn after teaching and talking about financial education for years now is that one of the biggest reasons, not the only reason, but one of the biggest reasons why poverty is generational is because we take our broke mindset and we pass it on to the next generation. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. So if you grow up in a house where you hear from your parents that we can't afford this vacation because it's too much money. We can't have that nice home. Oh, those rich people, they must have done something bad, something sleazy, something negative, which is why they have that money. Well, what ends up happening now is you kind of think that's normal, right? When you're a kid, because that's what you hear. You hear that from your family, that you can't afford nice things, that these things are out of grasp for you, that you can't have these nice things, and the people that have the nice things did something bad to get there. Well, then you go to school, you get a degree, you go to get your job, and now you start making a little bit of money. You start dealing with the forces of life, right? You want to get married, you want to have a kid, you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, and you start to realize, life is expensive, and you start putting money out, and you're not making enough money. Maybe you're investing a little bit of money. And now you start to have kids, and now your kids say, well, I want to buy this, I want to go to Disneyland, I want to do that. And now all of a sudden you start saying the same things. Oh, we can't have that. We can't afford it. We can't have these nice things. The people that have it must have this bad gene, this bad selfishness, this bad greediness. And we start to pass it on. And very quickly, your ability to become wealthy becomes generational because of the way that you talk and the way that you think. Because what I've learned is if you can change the way you think about money, you'll change what you attract about money. And what I mean by that is if we think about this from a flow chart, we all want the same outcome. We want to be financially free. And you can put whatever term you want there, whether it's I want to be wealthy, I want to be rich, I want to be comfortable, say whatever you want, right? This is the outcome that we want. In order to achieve the outcome, we have to take certain actions. There's things we have to do with our money. There's things we have to do to get the money. That's the action. But now if we back up, how do we take these actions? Well, we have to have a thought which then entices us to make this action. And so this is where a lot of people say, think and grow rich. That if you want to manifest money, you have to think positively about money and you have to do these things about money. But that's not true. Because if in the back of your mind, somebody like me can't do it. I can't become rich. It's not right for me. You have that voice in the back of your mind, and then you're verbally saying, I'm going to become rich. I'm going to become successful. I'm going to become all these things. You're telling this to the world, but in the back of your mind, that's not true. When you do that, you're just lying to yourself. And that's where what you have to do is work before the thought, right? So we want the outcome, which means you have to take an action. For the action, you have to have a thought. But for the thought to actually work, you have to think about your subconscious thought, which is another way to call it your pre-thought. That before you actually have that thought, is that what you're actually going to deeply believe, or are you just saying this to lie to yourself because a book said you got to think rich and you're going to be rich? Well, that doesn't cover the whole story. And so this is where you got to back up a little bit and think about now your subconscious and really rewire the way you think about money. Because if you can do that, if you can change your subconscious thinking about money, your thoughts start to change about money. You start to think about more opportunities. You see more opportunities. You can take actions to capitalize on the opportunities. And when you can capitalize on the opportunities, you start to have now that outcome, which is the financial success that you want. But then it ultimately leads to the same question. Is that good or is it evil? Is it good to have $1 million or is it evil to have $1 million? And I'll just give you a story. So we're in California right now. Last year when I was in California, I was doing a little bit of a tour, speaking tour. And I was going from LA to Sacramento, and I took a plane from LA to Sacramento for an interview that I had to do. I landed in Sacramento, and I had a little bit of free time. I think I had like an hour before my next show. So I was like, I'm going to get some Chipotle. I pull into the parking lot. There was a grocery store and a Chipotle, and there was a lady, I believe she was from Mexico, and her 2 sons, and she had a sign there saying, I'm hungry. Do you have anything to help? Now, I had some extra time. So pull over to Chipotle, and I just walk over to her, and I try to speak to her with my broken Spanish. And essentially I said, can I buy you some groceries? Eventually she understood what I said, and she almost started crying out of happiness because she said, please. I said, go buy whatever you want. Her and her 2 kids run around, and she comes up to me with one of her kids asking if she could buy her son a chocolate bar. And I could see him like jumping around. I'm like, yeah, buy whatever you want. And again, I'm not very good at Spanish. Okay. So I got it across, and he was probably like 5 years old. He's like jumping in joy because he can buy this little candy bar. I mean, it probably costs $2. But the ability now to go out and help others costs money. Sure, you can spend time, but if you want to feed somebody, it costs money at the end of the day. That's why one of the things that I always say is it costs money to eat and it costs money to feed other people. If you think having money is evil, that's a very selfish way to look at money, because that means that you're just planning on hoarding the money. But no one says having money is about hoarding money. You can also help others with that money. And this is where understanding now how to have a holistic view of life can allow you to live a much more fulfilled life, because guess what? It's a lot easier when you don't got to stress about your bills. It's a lot easier when you don't have to stress on how you're going to pay for the vacation. It's a lot easier when you have investments to help fund your lifestyle. It's a lot easier when you don't have to stress about going to work. It's a lot easier when you don't have to stress about buying your wife or your husband that gift that they've been asking about. It's a lot easier when you can live your life without that financial stress, because a lot of mental issues, want to believe it or not, the reality is a lot of mental issues are caused by financial issues. One of the leading causes of divorce, financial issues. One of the leading causes of suicide, financial issues. Now, if you eliminate the financial issues, that doesn't mean that your life is going to suddenly be sunshine and rainbows, but you can remove some of the issues. And those are controllable. And that's what everything that I try to do on the financial education side is say, look, you have the ability to control some of these financial constraints by understanding money, understanding how to use your money, understanding how to invest your money. And as you build your wealth, now you can eliminate some of the financial stresses and work on some of the other stresses, work on being physically fit, work on being mentally fit, work on being spiritually fit. But you also got to be financially fit. That way you can live a holistic life, because you can do everything to take care of your body. You can do everything to take care of your mind. You can take everything to take care of your spiritual health. But if you can't pay your bills, good luck.